We only have 11 chapters. Shalom.
Shalom.
You want to start us off, Morris or Emeris?
Sure. Tell me what chapter and book. Uh-oh.
Yes, it's First Kings, chapter 12.
And 22. Okay. Let me get there.
No, the
I just looked up
whole
at the
chapter.
top.
The whole chapter 12.
Okay. Find my book. It doesn't matter what version I read in, does it? First King 12.
Any version acceptable, as long as it's not the King James
Okay. First King
or the Queen James.
12. I have no clue what that one looked like. Okay, I'm reading from the ESV. Rehoboam follies. Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel had come to Shechem to make him king. And as soon as Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, heard of it, for he was still in Egypt, where he had fled from King Solomon, Jeroboam returned from Egypt, and they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the assembly of Israel came and said to Rehoboam, "Your father made our yoke heavy. Now therefore lighten the hard service of your father, and this heavy yoke on us, and we will serve you." He said to them, "Go away for 3 days, then come again to me." So the people went away. The king Rehoboam took counsel with the old men who had stood before Solomon his father while he was yet alive, saying, "How do you advise me to answer this people?" And they said to him, "If you will be a servant to this people today, and serve them, and speak good words to them when you answer them, then you will be then they would be your servants forever." But he abandoned the counsel that the old men gave him, and took counsel with the young men who had grown up with him and stood before him. And he said to them, "What do you advise that we answer this people who have said to me, 'Lighten the yoke that your father put on us?'" And the young men who had grown up with him said to him, "Thus shall you speak to this people who said to you, 'Your father made our yoke heavy, but you lighten it for us.' Thus shall you say to them, 'Why my little finger is thicker than my father's thighs?' And now whereas my father laid on you a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father disciplined you with whips, but I will discipline you with scorpions." So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day, as the king said, "Come, come to me again the third day." And the king answered the people harshly, and forsaking the counsel that the old men had given him, he spoke to them according to the counsel of the young men, saying, "My father made your yoke heavy, but I will add to your yoke. My father disciplined you with whips, but I will discipline you with scorpions." So the king did not listen to the people, for it was a turn of affairs brought about by the Most High, that he might fulfill his word, which the Most High spoke by Ahijah the Shilonite to Jeroboam the son of Nebat. Verse 16. And when all Israel saw that the king did not listen to them, the people answered the king, "What portion do we have in David? We have no inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel, look now to your own house, David." So Israel went to their other tents. But Rehoboam reigned over the people of Israel who lived in the cities of Judah. The king Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was taskmaster over the forced labor, and all Israel stoned him to death with stones. And King Rehoboam hurried to mount his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel had been in rebellion against the house of David to this day. And when all Israel heard that Jeroboam had returned, they sent to call him to assemble and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only. When Rehoboam came to Jerusalem, he assembled all the houses of Judah and the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen warriors, to fight against the house of Israel, to restore the kingdom to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. But the word of the Most High came to Shemaiah, the man of God. Say to Jeroboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the rest of the people. Thus says the Most High, you shall not go up or fight against your relatives and the people of Israel. Every man return to his home, for this thing is from me. So they listened to the word of the Most High. I'm going to go back and say that again. So they listened to the word of Yah and went home again, according to the word of Yah. Verse 25. Then Rehoboam built Shisham in the hill country of Ephraim and lived there. And he went out from here and built Peniel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, now the kingdom will turn back to the house of David. If this people go up to offer sacrifices in the temple of the Most High at Jerusalem, then the heart of this people will turn again to their Lord, to Rehoboam king of Judah, and they will kill me and return to Rehoboam king of Judah. So the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and he said to the people, you have gone up to Jerusalem long enough. Behold your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. And he set one in Bethlehem, and the other he put in Dan. Then the sin became a sin for the people went as far as Dan to be before one. He also made temples on high places and appointed priests from among all people who were not the Levites. And Jeroboam appointed a feast on the 15th day of the 8th month, like the feast that was in Judah. And he offered sacrifices on the altar. So he did in Bethel, sacrificing to the calves that he made. He placed in Bethel the priests of the high places that he had made. He went up to the altar that he had made in Bethel on the 15th day in the 8th month. And in the month that he had devised from his own heart, he instituted a feast for the people of Israel and went up to the altar to make offerings. End of chapter 12.
You can read 13 also.
13. Let me go back. Oops. All I do is go over one. How about that? Okay. Chapter 13 and 1. Let's see how long this is. Okay. Verse 1. And behold, a man of the Most High came out of Judah by the word of the Most High to Bethel. Jeroboam was standing by the altar to make offering. And the man cried against the altar by the word of the Most High and said, O altar, altar, thus says the Most High, behold, a son shall be born to the house of David. Josiah by name, and he shall sacrifice on you the priests of the high places who made offerings on you, and human bones shall be burnt on you. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, This is the sign that the Most High has spoken. Behold, the altar shall be torn down, and the ashes that are on it shall be poured out. And when the king heard the saying of the man of God, which he had cried against the altar at Bethel, Jeroboam stretched out his hands from the altar, saying, Seize him. And his hand which he stretched out against him dried up so that he could not draw it back to himself. The altar also was torn down, and the ashes poured out from the altar, according to the sign that the man of God had given by the word of the Most High. And the king said to the man of the Most High, Entreat now the favor of the Most High your God, and pray for me, that my hand may be restored to me. And the man of Yah entreated the Most High, and the king's hand was restored to him, and became as it was before. And the king said to the man of the Most High, Come home with me and refresh yourself, and I will give you a reward. And the man of Yah said to the king, If you give me half your house, I will not go in with you, and I will not eat bread or drink water in this place. For so it was commanded by the word of the Most High, saying, You shall neither eat bread, nor drink water, nor return by the way that you came. Like he gonna listen. So he went another way, and did not return by the way that he came to Bethel. Verse 11. Now an old prophet lived in Bethel. His son came and told him that the man of the Most High had done that day in Bethel. They also told their father the words that he had spoken to the king. And their father said to them, Which way did he go? And his son showed him the way that the man of the Most High who came from Judah had gone. And he said to his son, Saddle the donkey for me. So they saddled the donkey for him, and he mounted it. And he went after the man of the Most High and found him sitting under an oak. And he said to him, Are you the man of the Most High who came from Judah? And he said, I am. Then he said to him, Come home with me and eat bread. And he said, I might not return with you or go in with you, neither will I eat bread nor drink water with you in this place. For it was said to me by the word of the Most High, You shall neither eat bread nor drink water there, nor return by the way that you came. And he said to him, I also am a prophet as you are. And an angel spoke to me by the word of the Most High, saying, Bring him back with you into your house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied to him. So he went back with him and ate bread in his house and drank water. And as they sat at the table, the word of the Most High came to the prophet who had brought him back. And he cried to the man of the Most High who came from Judah, Thus says the Most High, because you have disobeyed the word of the Most High, and have not kept the command that the Most High, your power, commanded you. But you have come back and have eaten bread and drunk water in the place which he said to you, Eat no bread and drink no water. Your body shall not come to the tomb of your fathers. And after he had eaten bread and drunk, he saddled the donkey for the prophet whom he had brought back. And he went away. A lion met him on the road and killed him. And his body was thrown in the wood, and the donkey stood beside it. The lion also stood beside the body. And behold, men passed by and saw the body thrown in the road, and the lion standing by the body. And they came and told it in the city where the old prophet lived. And when the prophet who had brought him back from the way heard of it, he said, Is this the man of the Most High who disobeyed the word of the Most High? Therefore, the Most High had given him to the lion, which had thrown him and killed him, according to the word the Most High spoke to him. And he said to his son, Saddle the donkey for me. And they saddled it. And he went and found his body thrown in the road, and the donkey and the lion standing beside the body. The lion had not eaten the body or torn the donkey. And the prophet took up the body of the man of God and laid it on the donkey and brought it back to the city to mourn and to bury him. And he laid the body in his own grave. And they moaned over him, saying, Alas, my brother. And after he had buried him, he said to his sons, When I die, bury me in the grave in which the man of Yah is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. For the saying that he called out by the word of the Most High against the altar in Bethel and against all the houses of the high places that are in the city of Samaria shall surely come to pass. Verse 33. After this thing, Jeroboam did not turn from his evil way, but he made priests for the high places against from among all the people. Any who would, he ordained to be priests of the high places. And this became sin to the house of Jeroboam, so as to cut it off and destroy it from the faces of the earth. That is the end of chapter 12. 13.
Amen. Let you want to take 14, 15, 16.
Somebody else gonna have to take 14 and 15. I'll read the last one. I'm gonna grab me some water and get my throat undried.
Come. So say, trying to get my light going. All right. At that time, Jeroboam's son Abijah became ill. Jeroboam said to his wife, Get up now and disguise yourself so that the people would not know that you are Jeroboam's wife, and go to Shiloh. Ahijah the prophet is there, the one who spoke of me as becoming king over his people. Take with you 10 breads, wafers, and bottles of honey, and come to him, and he will tell you what happened to the boy. Jeroboam's wife did so. She arose and went to Shiloh, and arrived at Ahijah's house. Now Ahijah could not see, for his eyes had stopped functioning because of his old age. But Yahweh told Ahijah, Behold, Jeroboam's wife is coming to seek pronouncement from you about her son, for he is sick. For so you shall say to her, when she comes, she will be disguised. It happened when Ahijah heard the sound of her feet coming in the door. He said, Enter, wife of Jeroboam. Why do you disguise yourself? I have a harsh message for you. Go tell Jeroboam, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim of Israel, Inasmuch I elevated you in the midst of the people, and have placed you as ruler over my people. And I tore away the kingship from the house of David and gave it to you. But you were not like my servant David, who kept my commandments and went with me after all his heart, to do only what is proper. Where was I? My bad, my eyes are kind of bad too as well. I now tore away the kingship from the house of David and I gave it to you, but you were not like my servant David, who kept my commandments and who went with me after all his heart, and do only what is proper in my eyes, but you have acted more wickedly than any who were before you. And you went and made for yourself the gods of others and molten images to anger me, and you have cast me behind your back. Therefore, behold, I am bringing evil upon the house of Jeroboam, and I shall eliminate every male offspring from Jeroboam, and from all the property, whether hidden or public in Israel, and I shall destructively pursue the house of Jeroboam, as one completely consumes food until it is waste. Any one of the house of Jeroboam who dies in the city, the dogs will eat. And anyone who dies in the field, the birds of the heaven will eat, for Yahweh has spoken. And you arise and go to your house as your feet enter the city. The child shall die. All of Israel will lament for him and bury him. For this one alone of Jeroboam's house will be brought to a grave, because of something good for Yahweh Elohim of Israel has been found in him of all the house of Jeroboam. Then Yahweh will appoint for himself a king over Israel, who will eliminate the house of Jeroboam on that day. But what does this matter now? For Yahweh will smite Israel as a reed lurches about in the water. He will uproot Israel from upon this bountiful land that he gave to their forefathers, and he will scatter trees, angering Yahweh. And he will give Israel over to this curse because of the sins of Jeroboam. and that he has committed himself, which he has caused Israel to commit. And Jeroboam's wife arose and left, and she came to Tarzah. As she entered the threshold of the house, the boy died. All of Israel buried him and lamented him, like the word of Yahweh which he had spoke through the hand of his servant Ahiah the prophet. The rest of the deeds of Jeroboam, how he fought wars and how he reigned, behold, they are recorded in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel. The duration of Jeroboam's reign was 22 years, then he lay with his forefathers, and Nadab his son reigned in his place. Rehoboam, son of Solomon, reigned in Judah. Rehoboam was 41 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 17 years in Jerusalem, the city that Yahweh chose of all the tribes of Israel to place his name there. Rehoboam's mother was named Naamah the Ammonite. The people of Judah did evil in the eyes of Yahweh, angering him more than their ancestors had done with the sins they committed. They too built for themselves high places, pillars, and Asherah trees on every lofty hill and under every leafy tree. There was also prostitution in the land. They did all the abominations of the nations that Yahweh had driven out before the children of Israel. It was King Rehoboam's 5th year that Shishak, king of Mizraim, ascended against Jerusalem. He took away the treasures of the temple of Yahweh and the treasures of the king's palace. He took everything. He also took all the golden shields that Solomon had made. King Rehoboam made copper shields in their place, and he placed them in charge of the captains of the runners who guarded the entrance to the king's palace. And it would be that whenever the king would come to the temple of Yahweh, that runners would bear them and then return them to the chambers of the runners. The rest of the deeds of Rehoboam and all that he did, behold, they are recorded in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Judah. There was warfare between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all the days. Rehoboam laid with his forefather and was buried with his forefathers in the city of David. His mother's name was Naamah, the Ammonite, and Abiam, his son, reigned in his place. In the 18th year of King Jeroboam, son of Nabat, Abiam became king over Judah. For 3 years he reigned in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Ma'akah, daughter of Abayashalam. He went in the way of all his sins of his father that he had done before him, and his heart was not whole with Yahweh his Elohim, as the heart of his forefather David had been. It was only for David's sake that Yahweh his Elohim had given him dominion in Jerusalem, to raise up his son after him to establish Jerusalem, because David had done what is proper in the eyes of Yahweh, and he did not veer from all that he had commanded him all the days of his life, except for the matter of Uriah the Hittite. There was warfare between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all the days of Abiah's life. The rest of the deeds of Abiam and all that he had did, behold, they are recorded in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Judah. There was warfare between Abiam and Jeroboam. Abiam laid with his forefathers, and they buried him in the city of David. Asa, his son, reigned in his place. In the 20th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, Asa became king over Judah. He reigned in Jerusalem 41 years, and his grandmother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abayashalam. Asa did what was proper in the eyes of Yahweh. Like his forefather David, he removed the prostitutes from the land. He removed all the prostitutes from the land, and he removed all the idols that his forefather had made. And even his grandmother, Maacah, he disposed from being a queen, for she had made an abomination unto an Asherah tree. Asa chopped up the abomination and burned it in the Kadaron valley. But they did not take away the high places. Nevertheless, Asa's heart was whole with Yahweh all his days. He brought in the consecrated goods of his father and his own consecrated goods to the temple of Yahweh, silver and gold articles. There was warfare between Asa and Baasha, the king of Israel, all their days. Baasha, king of Israel, attacked Judah and built up Ramah in order to prevent Asa, king of Judah, from leaving or entering. Shah took all the silver and gold from the remaining treasuries of the temple of Yahweh and the treasuries of the king's palace and placed it in the hands of his servants. Give me one second. King Ashah sent them to Ban Hadad, son of Tabarayaman, son of Hazayan, king of Aram, who dwelled in Damascus, saying, there is a treaty between me and you, between my father and your father. Uh, Behold, I have sent you an inducement of silver and gold. Go annul your treaty with Baasha, the king of Israel, so that he will depart from me. Ban Hadad heeded King Ashah, and he sent officers and his soldiers against the cities of Israel. He struck at Lijan, or Ayajan, Dan, and Abal Bayath Ma'akah, and the whole of Chanarath area, together with the entire land of Naphtali, or Naphtali. When Baasha heard that he had ceased his building of Ramah, he settled in Tharzah. And King Ashah called together all of Judah, and no one was exempt. And they carried away the stones of Ramah and its wood, which Baasha built. And them with King Asha built up Gabah of Benjamin and Mazpah, and all the rest of the deeds of Ashah and his heroic acts. And all that he did in the cities that he built, behold, they are recorded in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Judah. Only in his old age his legs ailed. Ashah lay with his forefathers and was buried with his forefathers in the city of David, his forefather. His son, Yahweh reigned in his place. Nadab, the son of Yarabam, became king over Israel the second year of Ashah, king of Judah. He reigned over Israel 2 years. He did evil in the eyes of Yahweh. He went in the path of his father and his sin, by which he caused Israel to sin. Baasha, son of Ahiah, of the father of Issachar, conspired against him, and Baasha struck him down at Gabbathon of the Philistines, while Nadab and all of Israel was besieging Gabbathon. Baasha killed him in the third year of Asa, king of Judah, and reigned in his place. It happened when he became king, he struck down the entire house of Yarabam. He did not leave a soul in the house of Yarabam until he annihilated it, according to the word of Yahweh which he had spoken through the hand of his servant Ahiah the Shalanite. For the sins of Yarabam which he had committed, he had caused Israel to commit with his provocations, by which he angered Yahweh, Elohim of Israel. The rest of the deeds of Nadab and all he had did, behold, they are recorded in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel. There was warfare between Ashah and Baasha, king of Israel, all their days. In the third year of Ashah, king of Judah, Baasha, son of Ahiah, became king over all of Israel at Tharzah, and reigned for 24 years. He did what was evil in the eyes of Yahweh, and he went in the way of Jeroboam, and his sins that he caused Israel to sin. The word of Yahweh came to Yahoo. The word of Yahweh came to Yahoo, son of Hananeh, concerning Baasha, saying, inasmuch I have elevated you from the dirt and placed you as a ruler over my people Yasharal, yet you have gone in the path of Yarabam, and you have caused my Ameh Yasharal to sin against me with their sins. Therefore I shall destructively pursue Baasha and his Bayath with annihilation, and I shall make your Bayath like the Bayath of Yarabam Ban Nebat, and any one of the Bayath of Baasha who dies in the city the dogs will eat, and whoever dies in the field the birds of the Hashemayim will eat. The rest of the deeds of Baasha, that which he did in his might, behold, they are recorded in the Sefer of Chronicles of the Malach Yasharal. Baasha lay with his forefathers and was buried in Tharazah, and his son Elijah reigned in his place, and also throughout the hand of Yahweh, son of Hananeh the Nabi, was the was the word of Yahweh concerning Baasha and his Bayat, because of all the evil that he had done in the eyes of Yahweh by angering him with his own handiwork, by being like the Bayat of Yarabam, and because he struck Yarabam down in the 26th year of Ashah, Malach Yahudah, Allah, Ban Baasha, became Malach over Yashar and Tharzah. Ruling for 2 years, his servant Zamaray, commander of half of the chariots, conspired against him. Elijah was in Tharazah, drinking himself drunk in the Bayath of Arzah, who was in charge of the palace in Tharazah. Zamaray came and struck down Elijah, and he went and down and killed him. In the 27th year of Ashah, Malak of Jehoiada, he reigned in his place. It happened when he became Malak that he sat upon the throne and he struck down the entire Bayath of Bashan. He did not leave over any male offspring, and all his relatives and friends, Zamaray, annihilated the entire Bayath of Bashan, in accordance to the Debar of Yahweh, which he had spoken concerning Bashan throughout the yard of the Nabe Yahuwah, or Yahal, because of all the sins of Bashan and the sins of his son Eliah, who sinned and caused Yasharal to sin, angering Yahweh Alahayim of Yasharal with their vanities. The rest of the deeds of Eliah and that he did, behold, they are recorded in the Sefer of Chronicles of the Malach of Yasharal. In the 27th year of Ashah, Malach of Yehuda, Zamaray reigned for 7 years in Tharazah, while the people were encamped in Gabbathan of the Philistines. They encamped, and the people heard the news, saying, Zamaray has conspired to even strike down the king. So all of Israel made Amray the commander of the army, Malach over Yasharal that day in the camp. Amray and all of Yasharal went with him, went up from Gabbathan and besieged Tarzah. When Zamaray saw that the city was being captured, he entered the hall of the Malak's palace, and he burned down the Malak's Hekal upon him in Aish, and he died because of his sins that he committed doing what was evil in the eyes of Yahweh, going in the way of Yaharabam, and his sins he committed causing Yasharal to sin. The rest of the deeds of Zamaray and his conspiracy that he organized, behold, they are recorded in the Sefer of Chronicles of the Malak of Israel. At that time, the people of Israel became split into two halves. Half the people followed Thabane, the son of Ganath, to make him Malak, and the other half followed after Amri. The half that followed after Amri prevailed over the half that followed Thabne, the son of Ganath. Thabane died, and Amri became Malak. In the 31st year of Ashah, Malak of Yahudah, Amri became Malak over Yasharal for 12 years in Tharazah. He reigned 6 years, and he brought the mountain of Samaria to Shamar for 2 talents of silver, and he built up the mountain. And he called the name of the city that he built Shamar, the Adonai of the mountain of Samaria. Amaray did what was evil in the eyes of Yahweh. He was more wicked than all those that had preceded him. He went on the entire path of Yarabam ban Nebat, and all the sins that he had caused Israel to commit, angering Yahweh Allahayim of Yasharal with all their vanities. The rest of the deeds of Amray he did, and his acts of might that he performed. Behold, they are recorded in the Sefer of Chronicles of Malach Yasharal. Amray lay with his forefathers and was buried in Samaria, and Ban Ahab reigned in his place. Ahab ban Amaray became Malach over Yasharal in the 38th year of Ashah, Malach of Yehudah. Ahab ban Amaray reigned over Yasharal and Shamariah for 22 years. Ahab ban Amaray did what was evil in the eyes of Yahweh, more than all who had preceded him. The least of his evils was going in the way of all the sins of Yarabam ban Nabat, and he took a wife, Jezebel bat of Atabaal, Malak of the Seodine, and he went and worshipped the Baal and prostrated himself to it. He erected an altar for Baal. In the Ba'ath of Baal that he built in Samaria, Ahab made an Asherah ox. And Ahab did more to anger Yahweh Allahayim and Yasharal than all the Malakim of Yasharal who had preceded him. In his days, he Yael Bayath Elete built up, hold on, Hiel, the Bayath Elite built up Jericho with the death of Abarayam, his firstborn, and he laid the foundations with the death of Shagar, his youngest. He installed his doors, like the word of Yahweh that he had spoken through the hand of Joshua by Nun.
Hey, Tori, you good to read?
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Just got in.
all right, bet. Let's say
Yeah.
17 and 18.
You said which one? Which chapters?
17, 18.
All right, give me one quick set. Getting there right now. Go. Now Elijah the Tishbite of Tishbe in Gilead said to Ahab, "As the Lord, the God of Israel lives, before whom I stand, there shall be neither dew nor rain these years, except by my word." The word of the Lord came to him, saying, "Go from here and turn eastward, and hide yourself by the Wadi Sherif, which is east of the Jordan. You shall drink from the Wadi, and I have commanded the ravens to feed you there." So he went and did according to the word of the Lord. He went and lived by the Wadi Sherif, which is east of the Jordan. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the Wadi. But after a while, the Wadi dried up, because there was no rain in the land. Then the word of the Lord came to him, saying, "Go now to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and live there, for I have commanded a widow there to feed you." So he set out and went to Zarephath. When he came to the gate of the town, a widow was there gathering sticks. He called to her and said, "Bring me a little water in a vessel, so I may drink." As she was going to bring it, he called to her and said, "Bring me a morsel of bread in your hand." But she said, "As the Lord your God lives, I have nothing baked, only a handful of meal in a jar, and a little oil in a jug. I am now gathering a couple of sticks, so that I may go home and prepare it for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die." Elijah said to her, "Do not be afraid. Go and do as you have said. But first, make me a little cake of it and bring it to me. And afterwards, make something for yourself and your son. For thus the Lord, the God of Israel, the jar of meal will not be empty, and the jug of oil will not fail until the day that the Lord sends rain on the earth." She went and did as Elijah said, so that she was as well as he and her household ate for many days. The jar of meal was not empty, neither did the jug of oil fail, according to the word of the Lord that he spoke by Elijah. After this, the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, became ill. His illness was so severe that there was no breath left in him. She then said to Elijah, "What have you against me, O man of God? You have come to me to bring my sin to remembrance and to cause death of my son?" But he said to her, "Give me your son." He took him from her bosom, carried him up into the upper chamber where he was lodging, and laid him on his own bed. He cried out to the Lord, "O Lord my God, have you brought calamity even upon the widow with whom I am staying by killing her son?" Then he stretched himself upon the child 3 times and cried out to the Lord, "O Lord my God, let this child life come into him again." The Lord listened to the voice of Elijah. The life of the child came into him again, and he revived. Elijah took the child, brought him down from the upper chamber into the house, and gave him to his mother. Then Elijah said, "See, your son is alive." So the woman said to Elijah, "No, Now I know that you're a man of God, and that the word of the Lord in your mouth is true. Chapter 18. After many days, the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the third year of the drought, saying, Go, present yourself to Ahab. I will send rain on the earth. So Elijah went to present himself to Ahab. The famine was severe in Samaria. Ahab summoned Obadiah, who was in the charge of the palace. Now Obadiah reverenced the Lord greatly. When Jezebel was killing off the prophets of the Lord, Obadiah took 100 prophets, hid them 50 to hid them 50 to a cave, and provided them with bread and water. Then Ahab said to Obadiah, Go through the land to all the springs of water and to all the wadis. Perhaps we may find grass to keep the horses and mules alive, and not lose some of the animals. So they divided the land between them to pass through it. Ahab went in one direction by himself, and Obadiah went in another direction by himself. As Obadiah was on the way, Elijah met him. Obadiah recognized him, fell on his face, and said, Is it you, my lord Elijah? He answered him, It is I. Go tell your lord that Elijah is here. And he said, How have I sinned that you would hand your servant over to Ahab to kill me? As the Lord your God lives, there is no nation or kingdom to which my Lord has not sent to seek you. And when they would say, He is not here, he will require an oath of the kingdom or nation that they had not found you. But now you say, Go, tell your Lord that Elijah is here. As soon as I have gone from you, the Spirit of the Lord will carry you, I know not where. So when I come and tell Ahab, and he cannot find you, he will kill me, although I, your servant, have reverenced the Lord from my youth. Has it not have been told, my Lord, what I did when Jezebel killed the prophets of the Lord? How I hid 100 of the Lord's prophets, 50 to a cave, and provided them with bread and water? Yet now you say, Go, tell your Lord that Elijah is here? He will surely kill me. Elijah said, As the Lord of hosts lives, before whom I stand, I will surely show myself to him today. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. When Ahab saw Elijah, Ahab said to him, It is you, you troubler of Israel. He answered, I have not troubled Israel, but you have, in your father's house, because you have forsaken the commandments of the Lord and followed the Baals. Now therefore have all Israel assembled for me at Mount Carmel, with 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Ashereth, who eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent to all the Israelites and assembled the prophets at Mount Carmel. Elijah then came near to all the people and said, How long will you go limping with two different opinions? It is the Lord is if the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. The people did not answer him a word. Then Elijah said to the people, even I only, am left a prophet of the Lord, but Baal's prophet number 450. Let 2 bulls be given to us. Let them choose 1 bull for themselves, cut it in pieces, and lay it on the wood, but put no fire to it. I will prepare the other bull and lay it on the wood, but put on the fire to it. Then you call on the name of your God, and I will call the name of the Lord. The Lord God who answers by fire is indeed God. All the people answered, Well spoken. Then Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, Choose for yourself 1 bull and prepare it first, for you are many. Then call on the name of your God, but put no fire to it. So they took the bull that was given to them, prepared it, and called on the name of Baal from the morning until noon, crying, O Baal, answer us. But there was no voice and no answer. They limped about the altar that they had made. At noon, Elijah mocked them, saying, Cry aloud. Surely he is a god. Either he is meditating, or he has wandered away, or he is on a journey, or perhaps he is asleep and must be awakened. Then they cried aloud, and as their custom, they cut themselves with swords and lances, with the blood gushed out over them. As midday passed, they raved on until the time of the offering of the oblation, but there was no voice, no answer, and no response. Then Elijah said to all the people, "Come closer to me," and all the people came closer to him. First he repaired the altar of the Lord that he had been thrown down. Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord came, saying, "Israel be your name." With the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord. Then he made a trench around the altar, large enough to contain 2 measures of seed. Next he put the wood in order, cut the bull in pieces, and laid it on the wood. He said, "Fill 4 jars with water and pour it on the burnt offering and on the wood." Then he said, "Do it a second time." They did a second time. Again he said, "Do it a third time." And they did a third time, so that the water ran all around the altar and filled the trench also with water. At the time of the offering of the oblation, the prophet Elijah came near and said, "O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your bidding. Answer me, O Lord, answer me, so that the people may know that you, O Lord, are God, and that you have turned their hearts back." Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt offering, the wood, the stones, and the dust, and even licked up the water that was in the trench. When all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and said, "The Lord indeed is the Lord, indeed is God." Elijah said to them, "Seize the prophets of Baal. Do not let one of them escape." Then they seized them, and Elijah brought them down to the Wadi Kishon and killed them there. Elijah said to Ahab, "Go up, eat and drink, for there is a sound of rushing rain." So Ahab went up to eat and to drink. Elijah went up to the top of Carmel. There he bowed himself down the earth and put his face between his knees. He said to his servants, "Go up now, look towards the sea." He said, "Look up." He went up and looked and said, "There is nothing." Then he said, "Go again 7 times." At the seventh time, he said, "Look, a little cloud no bigger than a person's hand is rising out of the sea." Then he said, "Go say to Ahab, harness your chariot and go down before the rain stops you." In a little while, the heavens grew black in clouds and wind. There was a heavy rain. Ahab rode off and went to Jezreel. But the hand of the Lord was on Elijah. He girded up his loins and ran in front of Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. Chapter 18.
Mike, you can go ahead with chapter 19. There, Mike, are you lifting weights?
If you not
Probably getting swole.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I thought you were
19, right?
getting swole.
chapter
Yeah, 19.
19, Big Mike.
First Kings 19.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
First Kings 19. First Kings 19. All right. Now Ahab told told Jezebel. Ahab told Jezebel something Elijah had done and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. So so Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah to say, many the gods deal with you, but it ever so severely it it by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like that of the one of them. And Elijah was afraid and ran from his life. Then he came to Beersheba, and he went to be in Jerusalem. He left his servant there, while he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. He came to a broom brush, sat down under it, and prayed that he might die. I had enough, Yahweh, he said, take my life. I am no better than my ancestors. Then he lied down under the broom. He lied down under the brush. He lied down under the bush and fell asleep. All all as one, an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." He looked around, and there by his head was some bread baked over hot coals in a jar of water. He ate and drank, and then lay down again. Verse 7. The angel of Yahweh came back and second time and touched him and said, get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you. So he got up and ate and drank and strengthened by that food. He traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Harab, the mountain of Yahweh. Verse 9. For there he went into the cave and spent the night. And the word of Yahweh came to him. What are you doing here, Elijah? And he responded, I have been very zealous for the for Yahweh Almighty. The Israelites have rejected his covenant, torn down his altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too. Yahweh said, go out, stand on the mountain in the presence of Yahweh, for Yahweh is about to pass by. Then a great and powerful wind torn the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before Yahweh, but Yahweh was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but Yahweh was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but Yahweh was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle wind, a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he pulled his cloak over his head and went out and sat at the mouth of the cave. Then a voice said to him, "What are you doing? What are you doing here, Elijah?" He replies, I I've been zealous for Yahweh, your Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword, which I am the only one left. And now they are trying to kill me too. Then Yahweh said to him, "Go back the way you came and go to the desert of Damascus. Then you get, I mean, then you, when you get there, anoint
Isaac.
Hazael, the king over Aram, as anointing um Ju, Ju the son of Nam, Namashai, king over Israel, and anoint Elias, 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 the son of Shaphat from Abel, Melech to Molech to succeed you as a prophet. And Jah will put to death any who escapes the sword of Hazel, Hazel, and Elias will put to death any who escape the sword of Ju, G. Yet I reserves 7,000 in Israel, all who kneels have not bowed down to Baal, and whom mouth have not kissed him. So Elijah went from there and found Elijah, the son of Shaphat. He was plowing. He was plowing with 12 yards of oxen, and he himself was driven with the 20 plows. Elijah went up to him and throw his clock, throw his clock around him. Elijah went, um, left his oxen and ran after Elijah. Let me kiss my father and my mother goodbye, he said, and then I will come with you. Go back, Elijah replied. What have what have I done? So he, Liz left him and went back. He took he took his yard. Uh, he took his yoke. He took his yoke of oxen and slaughtered them. He burnt the plows. Wait, he equipment. He burnt the plow equipment to cook the meat and to give it into the people, and they ate it. Then he set out to follow Elijah and became his servant. Shalom.
AJ, you could take 20 and 21.
Who you need to take 20 and 21?
She said give her a second.
Okay, okay.
I still didn't see where that letter was that Elijah was supposed to write. I didn't see that mentioned yet.
No.
Okay, my apologies. Which ones do you want me to read?
20 and 21.
Okay. And Ben-Hadad, the king of Aram, gathered all his army and 32 kings with him, and horses and chariots, and went up and besieged Samaria and waged war with it. And he sent messengers to Ahab, the king of Israel, to the city. And he said to him, Thus Ben-Hadad, your silver and gold were mine, your beautiful wives and children are mine. And the king of Israel answered him and said, As you say, my master, the king, I am yours, as well as all that is mine. And the messengers returned and said, Thus said Ben-Hadad, As I have sent to say to you, your silver and gold, your wives and your children, all shall be mine. And all shall be mine. But at this time tomorrow I will send my servants to you, and they will search your house and your houses of your servants, and anything you prize, they will put their hands and take it away. And the king of Israel summoned all the elders of the land and said, Please realize and see that this man is looking to cause harm, and he has sent me for your wives, my sons, and silver and my gold, and I have not denied him. And all the elders and all of the people said to him, Do not obey, and do not consent. And he said to the messenger of Ben-Hadad, Tell your master the king, all that you have sent to your servants at first, I will do. But this master I cannot do. And the messenger went, and they brought back a message to him. And Ben-Hadad said, to him, so shall the God do to me, and so shall they continue if the earth of Samaria surface from the footsteps of all the people who are with me. And the king of Israel answered and said, Say, one who girds the sword shall not boast as one who ungirds the sword. And it was as he heard these words, as he was drinking, and he and his kings who were with him in the pavilion, that he said to his servants, Lay on. And they laid siege to the city. And behold, a certain prophet approached Ahab, the king of Israel, and said, So said the Lord, Have you seen all this great multitude? Behold, I am giving them into your hands today, and I am the Lord, and you will know. And Ahab said, With whom? And he said, Thus said the Lord, with the youth and the governor of province. And he said, Who will commander the battle? And he said, You. And he counted the youth of the governors and the province, and they were 232. And afterward he counted all of the people, and all of the children of Israel, 7,000. And they went out at noon, and Ben-Hadad drinking himself drunk in the pavilions, and he and the kings, and the 32 kings who aided him. And the youth of the governor of the province went out first, and Ben-Hadad sent out, and they told him, saying, Men have come out of Samaria. And he said, If for peace they have come to seize them alive, if for war they have come out alive, shall you seize them? And it was these who had come out of the city, the youth and the governor of province, and the army which was after him. And they killed every man his opponent. The Arameans fled, and the Israel chased them. And Benhadad, the king of Aram, escaped on horseback with horsemen. And the king of Israel went out and struck the horses and the chariots, and inflicted upon Aram a great defeat. And the prophet approached the king of Israel and said to him, Go strengthen yourself, and know and see what you shall do. For the return of the year, the king of Aram will come against you. And the servants of the king of Aram said to him, A god of mountains is their god. Therefore they overpowered us. However, if we fight them in plain, you see, we will not overpower them. And do this thing, remove the kings, each man from his place, and place officers in their place. And you shall number for yourself an army like the army that fell from you, and the horses from horse, and chariot for chariot. And we will fight against them in plain. You will see if we will not overpower them. And he heeded them and did so. And it was at the return of the year that Benhadad counted the Arameans and went up to Aphek to war with the children of Israel. And the children of Israel were counted and provisioned, and they went and met them. And the children of Israel encamped against them like two flocks of goats. whereas the Arameans filled the land. And the man of God approached and said to the king of Israel, and he said, Thus said the Lord, because the Arameans said that God of the mountains is the Lord, and he is not God over the valleys, I will deliver all the great multitude into your hands, and you will know that I am the Lord. And they were encamped opposite each other for 7 days. And it was on the seventh day that the man of battle drew closer, and the children of Israel killed Aram, 100,000 footmen in one day. 100,000 footmen in one day. Sheesh. And the survivors fled to Aphek, to the city where the wall fell, and 27,000 men who had survived. Ben had fled and came into the city into the chamber within a chamber. And his servant said to him, Behold, we have now heard the king of the house of Israel, our kindly kings. Let us put sackcloth on our loins and ropes on our head, and let us go out to the king of Israel. Perhaps he will spare our lives. So they girded sackcloth on their loins and rope on their heads. And they came to the king of Israel and said, Your servant Benhadad said, Please, may my life be spared. And he said, Is he still alive? He is my brother. And the people took it for an omen, and they hasted and caught it from him and said, Your brother Benhadad. And he said, Come and take him. Benhadad went out for him, and he helped him climb up into the chariot. And he said to him, The cities which my father took from your father, I will return, and you shall make the streets for yourself in Damascus, as my father had made in Samaria. And I will, said Ahab, release him with this treaty. And he forged him with a treaty and released him. And a certain man of the disciples of the prophets said to his friend, By the word of the Lord, strike me now. And the man refused to hit him. And he said, Because you have not obeyed the Lord, who you because you have not obeyed the Lord, who you depart from me, a lion will strike you. And he went away from him, and a lion found him and struck him. And he found another man and said, Strike me, please. And the man struck him, striking and wounding him. The prophet went and waited for the king on the way, and he disguised himself with his headband over his eyes. And it was when the king was passing that he cried out to the king, and he said, Your servant went out into the thick of battle, and behold, the man turned aside, and he brought me a man and said, Watch this man for me. If he will be missing, your life will be instead of his life, or else you shall weigh out your talent or for silver. And your servant was busy here and there, and he had gone. And the king of Israel said to him, So is your verdict. You have pronounced it. And he hesitated and removed the headband from his eyes. And the king of Israel recognized him, that he was one of the prophets. And he, the prophet, said to him, Thus said the Lord, because you have released the man whom I have designated for destruction from your hands, it will be your life instead of his, and your people instead of his. And the king of Israel went to his home, sad and upset, and he came to Samaria. And it was after these happenings that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard which was in Jezreel, next to the palace of Ahab, the king of Samaria. And Ahab spoke to Naboth, saying, give me your vineyard, and I will have it for vegetable garden, since it is near my house, and I will give it to you instead of a vineyard, which is better than it if you please. And I will give you, instead of this vineyard, which is better, if it pleases you, I will give you money its worth. And Nabal said to Ahab, the Lord forbid me to give you the inheritance of my forefathers to you. And Ahab came to him in his house, sad and upset, because the matter of Naboth the Jezreelite had spoke to him and said, I will not give you the inheritance of my forefathers. And he lay on his bed, turned away his face, and did not eat bread. And Jezebel his wife came to him and spoke to him, for what is with your spirit has left you, and you do not eat bread. And he spoke to her, for I have spoken to Naboth the Jezreelite, and I have said, give me your vineyard for money, or if you wish, I will give you a vineyard instead of it. And he said, I will not give you my vineyard. And Jezebel his wife said to him, do you now exercise kingly power over Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let your heart be merry. I will give you Naboth the Jezreelite vineyard. And she wrote a letter in Ahab's name, and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letter to the elders and the officials who were in the city, who sat with Naboth. And she wrote letters saying, proclaim a fast, and place Naboth in a forefront of the people, and set up 2 wicked men opposite him, and they will testify against him, saying, you have cursed God the king, and they shall remove him and stone him, and he will die. And the men of the city did, and the elder and the official that dwell in his city, as Jezebel sent to them, as it was written in the letter that she had sent to them. They proclaimed a fast, and set Naboth at the head of the people. And the 2 wicked men came and sat opposite him, and the wicked man testified against Naboth in front of the people, saying, Naboth cursed God and the king. And they took him out of the city and stoned him with stones, and he did die. And they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth has been stoned and died. And it was when Jezebel heard that Naboth had been stoned and died, that Jezebel sent to Ahab and said, get up and take possession of the vineyard of Naboth in Jezreel, which he refused to give to you for money. And Naboth is not living, but dead. It was as Ahab heard that Naboth had died, and Ahab got up to go to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite to take possession of it. And the word of the Lord came to Elisha the Tishbite, saying, arise and go down towards Ahab the king of Israel, who is in Samaria. Behold, he is in Naboth's vineyard, where he has gone down to take possession of it. And you shall speak to him, saying, so said the Lord, have you murdered and also inherited? And you shall speak to him, saying, thus said the Lord, in the place that the dogs have licked the blood of Naboth, shall the dogs lick the blood of even yours. And Ahab said to Elijah, have you found me, my enemy? And he said, I have found you, because you have sold yourself. You have sold yourself to do what is bad in the eyes of the Lord. I will bring disaster upon you, and I will expunge after you, and I will cut off from Ahab every male child, and those that are restrained, and those that are free in Israel. And I will make your house, all the houses of Jeroab, the son of Nebat, and the son of Baash, the son of Ahaj, because of the anger which you have angered me, and you have caused Israel to sin. And also concerning Jezebel, the Lord spoke, saying, the dogs will eat Jezebel in the valley of Jezreel, and the dead of Ahab in the city will be eaten by the dogs, and the dead in the fields of the fowl of the sky will be eaten and eat. But there was none like Ahab, who had sold himself to do bad in the eyes of the Lord, that Jezebel his wife instigated him. And he very abominably abomina- abominably went after idols like all and he very abominably went after idols, like all that the Aramites had done, whom the Lord had expelled from before the children of Israel. And it was when Ahab heard these words that he had tore his garments and put sackcloth on his flesh and fasted, and he lay in the sackcloth and walked slowly. And it was the word of the Lord to Elisha the Tishbite, saying, Have you ever seen that Ahab is submissive to me? Because he has humbled himself before me, I will not bring disaster in his days. In the days of his sons, I will bring disaster on his house.
All right, I'll finish off 22. Yeah, y'all see that humility comes in now. All right, chapter 22. They lived for 3 years, during which there was not any war between Aram and Yasharal. But it happened in the third year that Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, came to visit the king of Yasharal. The king of Yasharal said to his servants, Did you know that Ramoth Gilead belongs to us? Yet we have been lax in taking it back from the king of Aram. He then said to Jehoshaphat, Will you go down with me to do battle for Ramoth Gilead? Jehoshaphat answered the king of Yasharal, I shall be like you, my people shall be like your people, my horses shall be like your horses. Jehoshaphat then said to the king of Yasharal, Inquire, please, today of the word of Yahweh. The king of Yasharal gathered the prophets, some 400 men, and said to them, Shall I go to war for Ramoth Gilead, or shall I refrain? They answered, Go up, for my Adonai will deliver it into the hand of the king. Jehoshaphat said, Is there no longer here a prophet of Yahweh of whom we may inquire? The king of Yasharal answered Jehoshaphat, There is one more man through whom to inquire of Yahweh, but I hate him, for he never prophesies good for me, only bad. Micaiah, son of Imlah. Yeah, people hate the truth. Jehoshaphat said, Let the king not speak this way. So the king of Yasharal summoned one officer and said, Rush Micaiah, son of Imlah here. The king of Yasharal and Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, were sitting, each man on his throne, dressed in royal garb, at the threshing floor at the gateway of Samaria, and all the prophets were prophesying before them. Zedekiah, son of Kena'anah, made himself iron horns and said, Thus said Yahweh, with these you shall gore Aram until they are obliterated. All the prophets were prophesying similarly, saying, Go up to Ramoth Gilead and triumph, for Yahweh will deliver it into the hand of the king. The messenger who had gone to summon Micaiah spoke to him, saying, Behold, the words of the prophets are unanimously favorable towards the king. Please let your words be like the word of one of them, and speak favorably. But Micaiah said, As Yahweh lives, I swear that whatever Yahweh says to me, that I shall speak. He came to the king, and the king said to him, Micaiah, shall we go to war for Ramoth Gilead, or shall we refrain? He said to him, Go up and triumph, for Yahweh will deliver it into the king's hand. The king then said to him, I adjure you many times over that you speak to me nothing but the truth, in the name of Yahweh. Micaiah then said, I have seen all the Yasharal scatter into the mountains, like sheep that have no shepherd. And Yahweh saying, These have no masters, let each man go to his house in peace. The king of Yasharal said to Jehoshaphat, Did I not tell you that he never prophesies good for me, but only bad? Micaiah said further, Therefore, listen to the word of Yahweh. I have seen Yahweh sitting on his throne, with all the hosts of heaven standing by him, on his right and on his left. And Yahweh said, Who will lure Ahab to go up to war, that he may fall in Ramoth Gilead? This one said, like this. And this one said, like this. Then the Spirit came forth and stood before Yahweh, and said, I shall lure him. And Yahweh said, How? The Spirit replied, I will go out and be a spirit of falsehood in the mouths of all his prophets. And Yahweh said, You will lure him, and you will succeed. Go forth and do so. And now behold, Yahweh has put a spirit of falsehood in the mouth of all these prophets of yours, for Yahweh has decreed evil upon you. And that brings back to when people talk about the false pen of the scribes, when they were telling people they were trying to prophesy good things, even though the Most High was telling them something else, the opposite. And also the false spirit going into their mouths. I find it interesting though what we just read. All the hosts of heaven was on the Most High's right and left. Not one of them was named, and it didn't say anything about a second throne next to him or any son he had. So keep that in mind. Verse 24. Zedekiah, son of Kenana, then approached and struck Micaiah on the cheek and said, How is it that the spirit of Yahweh passed from me to speak to you? That brings back Isaiah 53. Remember, he got hit with the rod. Micaiah said, Behold, you will see for yourself on that day when you go inside a room within a room to be hidden. The king of Yasharal said, Take Micaiah and turn him over to Amon, the minister of the city, and to Joash, the king's son, and say, Thus said the king, Put this one in the prison, and feed him a minimum of food and a minimum of water until I return in peace. Micaiah said, If you indeed return in peace, then Yahweh did not speak through me. And he said further, Hear this, all the peoples. The king of Yasharal and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, then went up to wage war at Ramoth Gilead. The king of Yasharal said to Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself when I come to the battle, but you wear your royal garments. So the king of Yasharal disguised himself and went out to battle. The king of Aram commanded his 32 chariot commanders, saying, Do not wage war with anyone weak or strong, but only with the king of Yasharal himself. It happened that when the chariot commanders saw Jehoshaphat, they said, This must be the king of Yasharal. And they went towards him to fight him. Jehoshaphat cried out. When the chariot commanders realized he was not the king of Yasharal, they turned away from him. A man of Aram drew his bow aimlessly, yet hit the king of Yasharal between the joints of his armor. The king said to his driver, Reverse your hand and take me out to camp, for I am wounded. The war intensified on that day, and the king was propped up in his chariot in the presence of Aram. He died in the evening, the blood of the wound spilling into the bosom of the chariot. The call went out in the camp, and the sun was setting, saying, Every man back to his city and his land. The king had died and was brought to Samaria, and they buried the king in Samaria. The driver, rinsed out the chariot at the pool of Samaria. The dogs licked up the king's blood, and the harlots bathed in it, like the word of Yahweh that he had spoken. The rest of the deeds of Ahab and all that he did, and the ivory house that he built, and all the cities which he built, behold, they are recorded in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Yasharal. Ahab lay with his forefathers, and Azahiah his son reigned in his place. Jehoshaphat son of Ashah had become king over Judah in the 4th year of Ahab, king of Yasharal. Jehoshaphat was 35 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 25 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Azubah, daughter of Shilhi. He followed completely the way of his father Ashah. He did not deviate from it, doing what was proper in the eyes of Yahweh. But they did not remove the high places. The people still slaughtered and burnt sacrifices at the high places. And Jehoshaphat made peace with the king of Yasharal. The rest of the deeds of Jehoshaphat and the acts of might that he did, and how he waged wars, behold, they are recorded in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Judah. Whatever prostitution was left from the days of his father Ashah, he eradicated from the land. There was still no king in Edom. A commissioner from Judah ruled. Jehoshaphat built Tarshish ships to travel to Ophir for gold, but he did not go because the ships broke down at Esion Geber. Then Ahaziah, son of Ahab, said to Jehoshaphat, "Let my servants travel together with your servants in ships." But Jehoshaphat did not consent. Jehoshaphat lay with his forefathers and was buried with his forefathers in the city of David, his forefather. His son Jehoram reigned in his place. Ahaziah, son of Ahab, became king over Yasharal in Samaria in the 17th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and he reigned over Yasharal for 2 years. He did what was evil in the eyes of Yahweh, and he went in the way of his father, and in the way of his mother, and in the way of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who caused Yasharal to sin. He worshipped the Baal and prostrated himself to it, and he angered Yahweh, Elohim of Yasharal, like all that his father had done. All right, we are done. Hey, Menelek, I want to ask you about this room within a room thing, because I heard that thing like several times before, and it kind of sound like how in that movie Get Out, dudes like falling in that sunken place. It kind of remind me of that. I don't know if that's what kind of a hidden thing in there or something. Like he was trapped in like some kind of like prison in his mind type thing.
He might have stepped away.
Yeah, his hands probably wet or something. Um, yeah, we can come back to that though. Unless y'all any thoughts about that thing, that room within the room. 'Cause I know sometimes the scripture be like it be having like hidden meanings in it.
I never really honed in or focused on that, but that's something I have to look at. But I don't have nothing I can really speak on it like 100% or say like I've looked into it before. So I'll have to get back on you on that.
Yeah, also when was talking about the upper story when that boy was dying and stuff, that made me think of that too. But we can go into that with when the man leg gets back, because I know he be into all that esoteric or whatever you want to call it. Who's this? Oh wait, what else did I want to talk about? Oh no, when Elijah, when he had all the prophets of Baal, I love this verse when he say, "How long will you dance between two opinions? If Yahweh is Elohim, go after him, and if Baal, go after him." That's the same thing going on today, bro, in these rooms. The same thing in what verse was that? First King 12, I think. Was it 12? Anyway, one of them was like they were serving their idol, but at the same time trying to serve the Most High. And people do that shit today. It's like pick a side, basically. Stop the half stepping. You would go 100% for the Most High or 100% for whatever else. So even in the New Testament, be telling them that, like, you can't serve two masters and being lukewarm and all that shit. Hey Tori, what tribe was Elijah? Was he Levi?
Wait, what's up? My bad. What did you say?
I said, you know what tribe Elijah was from?
Not per se, because I don't even think the um it mentioned. I know there were some like theories behind it. Um, if you um if you read the I don't know if you opposed to it, but the what's it called? Let me pull my laptop up.
You would think Levi, since he went to anoint kings and prophets.
And First Chronicles 8:27. Like I said, I'm not sure, but I know the Small Hats believe he's from the tribe of Gad. I'm not sure where they get that from. I know of First Chronicles 8. Let me use this actually. First Chronicles 8 say it was Benjamin. If this is the same one, so um, yeah, it says First Chronicles 8:27. Well, actually, First Chronicles 8 is supposed to be a genealogy of Benjamin, people from Benjamin. So if you jump down to verse 27, it says, "And Jehoshaphat and Elijah and Zechiri, the sons of Jeroam." Jeroham. So this one, um, that one's one of the ones that shows that it's Benjamin, but that's the only mention like I see him in Chronicles. But yeah, that's the only place I see it. And I know there's a lot of like I said, a lot of rabbis believe he was uh he was a priest, but you know,
Yeah, because far,
huh?
because don't you have to be from God to anoint somebody?
Yeah, you have to either be a priest or a Levi, and I know that was one of the things Gan has been pressing for lately because he like strictly Torah only. Excuse me, about anointing, but I mean, I guess everything has to have an origin. But when you look at Aaron and his sons, Moses, he anointed them. Aaron are his sons. But then again, Moses was a Levite. But if we saying strictly for the high priest, then where was that? Where was that change at then? Like when Moses did that, like was there a change after that Moses did that? That was just strictly for the high priest or the Levites to do it, or can can a priest do it because Samuel did it? So I don't know if it's really limited to the Levites. With all that was evident.
Yeah, I'm about to go back and check into that. I'm mad Devani didn't show up. Hey, man, I let you sleep.
No, I'm just chilling, listening, bro. My bad.
Hey, when don't you gotta be from Levi to anoint somebody? Cause like you say, Elijah anointed the prophets and kings, but I don't really know his lineage.
May I?
Proceed.
Okay. You speaking of the lineage of Elijah,
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
That was the son of Jeroboam, Ephraite, which is in let me make sure. First Samuel 1:1. What else I'm looking at? Okay, look at First Chronicle 8:27.
Yeah, that's where I just went. When you
That's where you
saying even
just
for
went?
Benjamin. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I was saying. But I was saying I also wasn't sure if that's the same one, but you know.
Yeah, because this one says it's a Tishbite from Gilead. So I don't know if there was two of them.
But Tishbite can just be watch this, let me get this. Tishbite could just be a reckoning for like either land or maybe perhaps like um his father's house where he came from. Like let me bring another example.
Hey, Menelik, I also want to go into that room within a room thing That sounds kind of like a trapped mind type thing. I don't know if you see it the same way. And also the upper room where the when the boy was dying, it said it was like upper chamber or something like that. So I was wondering if they would have a connection with that.
God, you got it.
I couldn't even hear you.
Oh no, I said, Con, you got it. I was over here sitting, meditating on Malachi, uh, last chapter. What it means for like Yah is my God to come back, because I'm pretty sure that's what like Yah means, or Allah Yah, Allah Yah, like like Yah is my God. Behold, I will send you. Yah is my God. Yeah, I was sitting there like meditating upon that for like the past like 30 minutes.
Which verse was that? That you said the last verse in Malachi.
Yeah, last chapter in Malachi. Let me see what number it is in the Psalms. I was reading it on something else. I was reading it in a few different versions actually. But hold on, let me see. Like on the Kabod, it's Malachi. Let me go back to where it was. Because it's different in like all of them. Like for example, okay, this website here, I'm gonna send you the link in the back. It's Malachi chapter 3, and then it's like verse 4 or 5 or something. No, it's lower down, a little bit lower down. Verse 23. And then there's another, I know it's Malachi 4 in the KJV. And it's like Malachi 4 in the KJV is like, it's a whole chapter in itself. It's like a few verses. Like um from where you're reading, right? God damn, this shit's annoying. Hold on. One, two, three. So from where you're reading, one second. From where you're reading there, go up like three verses. So from like 23, 22, 21, 20. All right, so from like verse 19 all the way to the bottom, they make that like its own chapter in the KJV. And then they like put the books, they put this after like Chronicles for some reason in the KJV. And then they like try to say it's John the Baptist. And I think they put Tori, if I'm wrong, they put like Zechariah in the back too, right? And then they be trying to say like John the Baptist dad was also named Zechariah and all this other stuff. Yeah, it's like bugged out stuff, man. But yeah, I was sitting here meditating on it for like 30 minutes, what it actually means, because like what does it actually mean? Like I was thinking about it before, like when I was in yeshiva, like some of the rabbis, they think that like Elijah is like still a prophet, and he's actually being the one being used to deceive all the people that do not listen to the Most High, or they think that they're listening to the Most High, but like something else. Because even if
Malachi was in the days of Elijah, right?
uh
Was Malachi and Elijah in the same time period, right?
I don't think so, bro. I don't think this is talking about that same Elijah right here. It's got to be like something else.
Yeah, cause I never seen it like that either. Elijah before the great and coming day. Wow.
I think this is completely somebody else.
With just like the
And when
spirit
you
of
look
Elijah.
at it in the Hebrew, right? When you see this in the Hebrew, um, the way that it's spelled, like Allah Yah, Aleph Lamed Yod Hey, like the way that it's spelled, like that's all through the Tanakh. It's everywhere. It's all inside the Tanakh.
So in Hebrew it doesn't say Elijah, or it does?
Um, that's what I'm saying. Like it just means like, why is my headphones be doing that shit? Hold on. I think that's why I didn't hear you at first. Hold on. Let me switch my other headphone in too. Yeah, in Hebrew it's saying like that word that they're using to say it's Elijah. That's like all through the Tanakh. And that's where like the concordances and all the Jewish things become useless because they don't know that because they don't actually read the Tanakh. But okay, so like it says, like for example, damn, I wish Sister Devani was here because she would tell you the same thing.
Right.
Because it's basically just saying like, Yah is my God. So it's like you ever hear me like when I'm reading out like, okay, anybody that regularly reads the Tanakh but doesn't know like the Hebrew, like when they see like Yahweh, where it said like the Lord God, they'll be like Yahweh Allahayim. But when it says like Yahweh my God, it's Yahweh Allahayat. It's the same shit. So it's just saying Yahweh is my God. So like the Jewish thing is like inserted that shit in there when they invented Christianity. So for example, Brother Tori, you there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Y'all was studying like the Pardes earlier, right? So like they have like four levels of interpretation, right? So they have it where it's like the literal meaning should not depart as you expound upon it higher. So like the Darash, like the highest two, like the Darash, and then like the Sod or whatnot. So like the literal meaning has to be there. That's the starting point. Is this actually some man named Elijah that's gonna come back, or like what could it be? And for it to go and expound upon it higher, if the starting point is some man named Elijah coming back, can we go any higher based on that? And like, is Pardes like even there? So like, you see what I'm saying? So I do think that Pardes is very real. You could use it to expound upon things or whatnot. But like, you know, when you see like the Christians using like Pardes and shit like that, it doesn't work there because all the sages that use that invented it or whatnot, like they all unanimously agree that the whole story of the NT is fake, which is like where the concept of like Elijah, a man, coming back as like John the Baptist. You see what I'm saying? So like, okay, so we were kind of going into it in our room as well. The Sod level is like the hidden things, and like the Darash is to like seek out diligently. Those two levels, right? So like we were talking about that in our room as well. And there are hidden things in the Torah, like okay, or whatnot, right? So, but we know for a fact JC is not there, and like the Jewish niggas agree with us. But for some reason, there's like Christians that use that. When they all the people that use that, they unanimously agree that there's all type of stuff you can find in the Tanakh, but not JC. So like, but the concept of Elijah coming back as like a man, that's after Christ. So when they started writing these things in English, because English came like way later, right? So when they start writing these things in English, they just it's the same thing like with the word Nazarite. Like if this is supposed to be a translation of the Hebrew to the English, they're supposed to be translating the Hebrew words into the English words. They did the same thing with Nazarite. Like why are they putting Nazarite there? Like they should be telling us what it means right there. You see what I'm saying? They did the same thing with Elijah. So I mean, but that's just like my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong. It could be right. It could be
So you're telling me Michael Black ain't the return of Elijah?
wrong.
Dang.
But yeah, like so. Let me find an example of it. So, but like I said, it's all through the Tanakh. If I find like a random page, right, where it'll say, "My God," uh, can anybody think of one where somebody says like, "My God"? Daniel, maybe Daniel 9.
Michael Black think he Elijah so?
Yes, yes, he does.
No.
You think Menelik is the Judah Nats too?
Wow, he think he Elijah.
Hey, it's gotten. I guess it's gonna be a problem because they saying Bishop Nathaniel from IUIC is Elijah. So we gotta figure out who the real one is.
None of
All right, here it goes. So Daniel 9. I know he says it in Daniel 9. My eyesight is being kind of bad. For we have sinned, deviated from your commandments to you, O Yahweh. Hold on, I gotta pull it up. Hold on, I got it right here. One second. Damn, I'm about to type. Hold on, let's pull this thing up, man. So where he like right after he pleads to the Most High. Here it is, verse 4. La Yahweh. If anybody could read the Hebrew, it's like wa uh ta tafilal tafillah, like my prayers. Wa tafillah la Yahweh Allah hayya. It's the same word. That word's all through the Tanakh, and it's never some man named Elijah. Like anybody that reads the Hebrew, they know that that word is there all through the Tanakh. It just means my God. So every time you see my God, where it's not just like Lord God, where it says Lord my God, it's Yahweh Allah hayya. I know y'all be hearing me say that all the time.
Yeah. So in 323, it doesn't say anything about a prophet either. Like, what's it saying?
Yeah,
Like it said before the coming of
it says like
the great day. Though.
Nabiya. I was trying to examine that word as well because it's not just like Nabi, it's like Nabiya. So it's hold on, let's okay, hold on. Seal up the vision and the prophecy. Hold on one second. My brain's farting right now. Where does it say seal up the vision and the prophecy, Brother Tori and Daniel?
Daniel, was that Daniel 12 or something? Hold up.
Yeah, it's Daniel 12.
Come.
12:4.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's
Well,
4.
not that one. Daniel,
Not 4. When he tell him to
uh,
close up the books, or
where he's like, seal up the prophecy.
look, is it verse? Check verse 9, 12 and 9. Is that the one you looking for?
No, it's where it's like, he shall rebuild the city and all that shit.
That's
Damn,
Daniel
why is my
9.
brain? Yeah, calm. Why is my brain farting like that? All right, here we go. It's like the Mashiach Nagayad and all that stuff. Okay, hold on. And he was no man. The anointed will be cut off. Okay, here we go. Yes, yes, yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, verse 24. So it's like Shebim, Netzach al. Where is it at? Lakelah, let me make it bigger. For righteousness, righteousness. Uh, Hazon for vision. Okay. Wanabiya. Wanabiya. Okay, you see where it says like seal up the vision and like it's like Hazon. Wanabiya. It's like the same thing in Malachi. This word here, there's also like great debate of whether it's saying like seal up the vision and the prophet or seal up the vision and the prophecies and then La Mashach Kodesh Kodeshim and then to anoint the Holy of Holies. And then some people would say like, oh, the holiest one, in like certain versions. So it's like this word like Nabiyah, it's either like prophet or prophecies. So you see in Malachi, they're putting it like they're saying this word that's all through the Tanakh, where it says my God. They're denoting it as some man, and then they're taking the word Nabiyah that's supposed to be prophecy, or and saying it's like prophet. If that helps, if that's the best I could do, this is the best I could do.
Can you can translate that whole verse?
What, Daniel 9, 20, or which one?
323 Malachi.
Yeah. It says, like, hene, behold, or like, yeah, like, hene is like, behold, or look, or see. Um, they put like lo for some reason, which we know that means like no, which like makes sense. But it's like hene, like look or see. Anoke, sholeach, or sholech, lachem eta. I will send to you. Eliyah, I will send to you. Eliyah, Yahweh is my God. Hanabe, prophecy or prophet. Lafane, before the coming. Bo Yom, before the coming day of Yahweh Hagadal, Wahanawara, the great and dreadful. So like you can see how they like jack that whole thing up in the English, right? And then the Christians, they took these like last few verses of it and then they like put it into its own chapter. They put it behind Second Chronicles instead of like the order of the books that we have in the Tanakh, and they put like Zechariah back there, and they talk about John the Baptist is some damn Elijah, and then Zechariah is like his daddy, basically. And then like what really is like the kicker is this. Okay, so let me try to go back a little bit. Okay, so my bad, I'm flipping through all the Daniels that I had open. Let me go back one more. Damn, how much was I looking at? Okay, so I guess I'll just open up Malachi, I guess, separately. Hold on. Oh, never mind. I had it on my phone. That's why. It's all good. Okay. All right. Malachi, last chapter. And we go to it. Okay, verse 1 is what we really got to deal with. So, like, let me go to like verse 1 in both versions. Let me pull it up on my phone too. All right, so, Hene, Sholeach, or Sholech, Malaki, so like the messenger. I will send the messenger. Wafina, like to prepare or like to mark a way. So then the next word is like direct for directions. Lafane before wafiton, and then like that's like straight away. Yabo al hakelo, unto the temple. He will come unto like to come unto the temple. Ha Adon, and the Lord Ashar Atem, Ha Adon Ashar Atem, the Lord whom you Mawachim, that you require or like seek or desire. Malach, even the messenger. They say even the messenger, but it's just like Malach. It's like Ha Adon Ashar Atem Mawachim Malach. It's like and the like the Lord whom you seek, the messenger Habarit of the covenant, Ashar Atem Hafeshim Hineva, whom you delight in, or whom you have favor with, Hineba Amar Yahweh Shawot. Behold, he shall come, saith Yahweh of hosts. Like, who is that? But yeah, they tried to like, okay, like I said, they took like half of the shit we were reading first about like where they said it's Elijah. They took that out. They separated it into one chapter, and they try to say that what we just read here is Christ, and then they try to say that the next chapter is like the prophet who's gonna like prophesy of him. But why would they like need that if they already have like all the other shit they say of him inside the Tanakh, but he's not there? It's the same thing with this. So it's not saying nothing that we think it's saying, and that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah, that wouldn't even work with JC and John, because it says before the great day of Yahweh. So what is the great day of Yahweh? Because I didn't see that in the NT.
Well, yeah, they try to make it like it's like Christ, like his coming, and that's why I keep trying to tell people like you can't like try to take Christianity and try to like Judaize it. Like they made Christianity to be what it is. Like that nigga's the God of that book. You see what I'm saying? Like there is no, oh, he's a man, Joseph is his daddy. Nah, he's like, whatever, separate. Like, nah, the whole book, like, if they really understood that book, like the Christians ain't just making that shit up, bro. Like they wrote it to be that way. You know what I'm saying? That's why they don't have the name of Yahweh in that book. It's like it's JC. Like you can't like, and that's what Paul was doing. Like Paul, like that when he was teaching, like it's high level shit, bro. It's like high level Jewish mysticism. Like it's like nothing that anybody's even arguing about. Like that shit is legit witchcraft. So all the arguments come from trying to make sense out of that shit, when really that shit belongs in trash. Like you can't make something like this make sense. It doesn't belong with the Tanakh. You know what I mean? Like we all know that. But like when brothers try to like, uh, that's why I try to like, okay, I point out certain things when I deal with it. Like I'm definitely not going to go in through all of our prophecies, our holy prophecies, to try to show these goofies that he's not in there, right? I'm gonna ask them what his name is. They don't even know his name. His name is Jesus. That's what they wrote in the Greek. And then like half of the mental patients we talk to, they're like, "What do I care what it says in the Greek?" Well, dumbass nigga, that's where you get the English from. They translated from the Greek. So half of the people in the world don't even know that shit. Like that, something so simple as that. So his name is Jesus. There's no Yeshua. There's no Yehoshua. That man don't exist. That's okay. So this character Jesus, he's being completely ignored, but he's there, and it's who that book is talking about. But they create in their mind some other characters named Jesus, some other characters named Yahshua, some other new character named Yahawashah. And these characters only exist in your mind, while some damn wizard that created some witchcraft named Jesus is like still there. And even that's not his name because the Jewish niggas told you his name is Yeshu, which is something completely different. And they said this nigga's a sorcerer and he's boiling in his own excrement for producing witchcraft. He had 4 followers, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and they was all teaching blasphemy. And there were sorcerers. This shit's mind control. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I don't like go into it like into our prophecies to show them some dude that doesn't even exist in their book that they believe in is not there. There's no motherfucking name Yeshua or Yehoshua or Yahawashah in the New Testament at all. But yo, help me out, brother. So when you read the New Testament, right? When we used to read these things, did you ever come across the name of Yehoshua or any of that shit in there? Or, like these niggas making that shit up in their own mind, basically. You know what I'm saying? But it's layers upon layers of like hiding whoever's playing the chess game, and they keep hiding themselves. Like, but we all know the small hats created that shit as like revenge to the Gentiles. When they tried to steal Judaism from them, they gave them this shit to fuck their brains up, and we like continue to want to believe in that shit for some reason.
Yeah, it was really created just for this right here. Like one to keep us out of the Tanakh and to keep us in confusion and to keep us fighting over it. Thus, we're distracted. Like that's how you defeat a people, man. You divide them. You divide them over a God. They got theirs, we got ours. And people probably killing in the name of I ain't even gonna say his name. Let's just call him boiling excrement God. Uh, yeah, that guy. That's
Put it this
basically
way:
what it was, yo.
when they call him Yeshu, they call him Yeshu. It's different from like Yeshua, all this shit. They call him Yeshu, and they say that the final ayin is not there because that like represents the eye, and like he's some damn wizard, like he's like watching you somehow. Like, even the Jewish people are bugged out by it, and they created it. They're like created like some monster, bro. Like they legit put some witchcraft into the earth.
Wait, they created excrement God?
Hell yeah, they do.
Oh
So
hell.
we know that that Judaism itself is not the Torah. It's not, right?
Yeah,
We know
yeah.
it's something different. So when they created Judaism, they created that to give it to the Greeks to throw them off to keep them away from the Torah. And then when Ptolemy wanted to get that from them, they created Yeshua. That they created that.
The Elohim of the earth is the Elohim that created the earth. The earth is his footstool.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like Soldier Boy and Gucci Man with the Bible, they ain't gonna figure that shit out. So, we spent a lot of time the past few days, and we went deep into some like actual real stuff. Like today, I think today, well, I pretty much articulated correctly all the time, but like today, I think I articulated it correctly in that last room where people got it, um, where it's within their means or whatnot, and then they'll start to like, okay, right? Uh, it's either they do it or they don't. You know what I'm saying? And then trying to explain to them this shit, it's not even worth your time. Like I'll discuss these things with you and like you know what I'm saying, people that are like on the path. But like there's like this other path, this imaginary path that they think they're on the path. And that's where it leads us to the word Baal. So Baal is like similar to, it means like here or there. Like they worship, they praise, they were calling out to Baal. It's like calling out to here or there. It's like to the fucking sky, bro. But they think it's Yahweh. This shit's got levels to this shit. You already know that. There ain't no actual Baal or Molech. It's the same thing like when we thought JC was Yahweh. Every time we were reading the book, not one time did our minds freaking spark itself. Not one time did the engine turn on in the mind, say, hey, this is not the God of this book. No, we thought it was the God of that book. And we served him a certain way. And now when they dropped the name, you see how the three names that they had that I was talking about, Yeshua, JC, all this shit, but that's not his name. It's like Jesus, but that's not even not his name. All they did was drop whatever name they was dealing with. Then they call out to the name of Yahweh, but it's not the Yahweh that me and you dealing with that put the crown of Tifereth on your head for you to like comprehend everything I'm saying. But trust me, they don't get it. If we try to like talk about this outside of like who we've been talking about it every day with, like in the rooms that we've been having, they're not gonna get it, bro. And they might cuss your ass out too.
I just want to read this real quick. Deuteronomy 10:14, because people think that quote unquote Satan, which simply means adversary, is the God of this earth. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is Yah's thy Elohim, the earth also with all that therein is. Also, it was Isaiah 45:18.
Heaven is this earth. The heaven is this place, and earth is his footstool.
Con. How you can't create something and it's not like, and that's not yours. That's like you have a creation and you patent it, and somebody comes in and try to say, no, this is mine. Nah, nope. His name's on everything. His name's in all the creation. Like, ain't no serpent whatever coming and taking credit for the Most High. Everything is his. He created light and darkness. There's no Satan, serpent, snake. The earth is not anything but the Most High's. He is the God of everything. So yeah, for Isaiah 45:18. For thus saith Yah that created the heavens, Elohim himself that formed the earth and made it. He have established it, he created it not in vain, he formed it to be inhabited. I am Yahweh and there is none else. And also in Isaiah 44:24 it say the Most High created earth and he stretched out the heavens alone. When that kills JC, when it says in the New Testament where it says that all things were created through JC. No. Most High created by himself. He didn't have no son helping him. Like how you all powerful entity and you need uh
He's
ec-
Ezekiel 28. He about to know he about to cut himself.
yeah, that's my big bro. I'm trying to get him out that book.
Oh, that's a big bro.
Yeah, Isaiah 14. Hey, you gotta read the whole thing in the context and also go into the language. That's not talking about when it says what's his name, Lucifer. It's not talking about Satan, bro. You gotta read the whole thing, bro. It's not talking about Satan,
Nebuchadnezzar,
right?
when he put his enemies under his foot. That was during the Babylonian captivity.
Plus, who do you know that says that they're trying to be like the Most High? Out of everybody we know in these two books, who's trying to say they're trying to be like the Most High? The one that comes in my mind
Nebuchadnezzar,
is Jeebus.
yeah.
Jeepers Creepers. You're trying to ascend. He said, "Who has ascended and came back down?" And Paul calls him equal with the Most High. Mm. Yeah, nah, we don't read that in here. Far past that, there's levels to this. I know it
I
hurts,
mean, shoot, we
but
could
I'm
go into it. If you want to make another room, we could go into. So you say the replays and whatnot. Yeah, I don't mind, but like